Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, California Resources Corporation, Kern County Water Agency, Southern California Edison, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and Bakersfield City School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We're live here today at Douglas J. Elementary, ACES After School Program, home of the Mustangs, and we're here to...
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Chuck. Give us a call if you need some help on your math homework. Bakersfield at 636-4357. You can call us toll free from the outlying areas at 1-866-636-6284. You can email us questions if you need to at dothemath@kern.org. You can watch the show live online at dothemathonline.net and look for us on social media. There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, you know what? There's a lot of ways to get a hold of us. And just a special side note for the students in San Luis Obispo County, if you phone in and we do your math problem on air, you will automatically get yourself some ice cream at Doc Bernstein's Ice Cream Labs. That is an automatic, no need to see if you're the lucky winner, wait for a drawing or anything like that. You will automatically win. As far as students in Kern County, you call in and we put your name into a drawing. That drawing every single day is for a family 4-pack to go see the Bakersfield Condors. In the open, Marylou is out there at Miller.
Yes.
And I don't know if she can hear me right now, but I'm just going to throw this out there. We'll let Marylou do the entire program because there are so many kids out there. I'm sure she's going to be busy at least until 5:30.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we go visit Marylou, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. All right, today's Math in the News, I pulled it straight out of the paper. The last time you bought gas,
yes.
Do you remember what the price was per gallon?
Yes, I do.
What was it? I mean, around
$2.99.9 for regular.
For regular?
Yeah.
All right. I hit, there was a place on the corner of White Lane and Gosford, $2.89 right now it is. Mm-hmm. So that was the last time I filled up. But in the newspaper today, well, every day, they have oil and gas prices, and you can see that the price for a barrel of oil at Midway has gone up $3.18. It's $46.14 a barrel. Mm-hmm. West Texas Intermediate, $46.02, went up 13 cents. Now we can see that the Bakersfield price per gallon in the last 72 hours, the highest has been $3.99.
$3.99.
And I'm glad I don't live where that is. Yeah. I'm not sure where that is. Maybe it's the highest end grade that you can get.
Well,
possibly, but I mean, if we're paying $2.89, $2.99.
Regular unleaded, yeah. So it's probably out on the interstate somewhere or on the highway.
Right, yeah, because if you're getting off the highway, it's going to be a little more expensive. Anyway, for comparison, let's take a look at California, $2.86. Most expensive of all, of course, will be California. Mm-hmm. West Coast, $2.42. You take a look at the nation, about 60 cents less on average than it is here in California. So I figured, all right, that's something that you can take a look at every single day in the newspaper, see how gas prices are going compared to the nation and oil prices as well. Right. So I was like, all right, a lot of students might not know the size of a barrel. So let's take a little closer look at a barrel. So here's a photo of a barrel. When filled with oil, a 42-gallon barrel weighs about 300 pounds. Now, the reason they had these size barrels is because before they contained oil, they had other goods in them. Mm-hmm. And 300 pounds is about the limit on what a man could maneuver.
Right, not
at that
pick up,
point.
but maneuver.
Right, but you could maneuver it around. 300 pounds is the most, and those were the size of the barrels that they would have goods in. They weren't metal; they were obviously wood at the time. 42-gallon oil barrel was officially adopted in 1866. A barrel's refined products include about 20 gallons of gas, 12 gallons of diesel, 4 gallons of jet fuel, and other products like liquefied petroleum gases and asphalt. So you can see that in one barrel, there are 42 gallons.
And I always thought a barrel was usually 50 gallons, but I guess 42.
42 is it, and there's a different amount for dry goods. But we'll get into it at another day. So I just want to take a look at that, and then the cost per gallon. So we're like, all right, it costs this much for the barrel of oil. Well, how much is it per gallon? So if we take $46.14 a barrel and divide that by the 42 gallons, it comes out to a little over $1 per gallon, which rounds to about $1.10. And then we can see here, we have a little graphic where it says 42 gallons is equal to a barrel. One person uses about 22 barrels per year.
Wow.
So that's on average. So you figure how many people you have in your house, that's about how many barrels of oil you use, considering all of the oil products and things like that.
Oh, okay,
and
not just
so
gasoline.
Not just gasoline. And obviously we saw that out of a barrel, gas is about 20 gallons of it, so about half of it. So Eddie, just something interesting when you're perusing through the newspaper, you're like, barrel, what's that exactly? And that's today's Math in the News.
And we're so torn here in Bakersfield because, you know, we want gas prices to be low, but, you know, the oil producing area here, we want oil prices to be up. So it's
right, yeah, they want it up, but we don't want the price to be up.
Right.
But we want them to do well because they live here and stuff like that. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. As a reminder, you phone in until 5:30, we do your problem, you are eligible for some great prizes just for getting some extra math homework help. Maybe you're getting ready for a test, you need to review something. Also, if there's a problem when you maybe were viewing the program one time, whether online or on the cable, and you're like, I remember it was 2 weeks ago I saw this problem, you can always go to our Facebook page or YouTube, go to that specific day, and you can view the entire program and just fast forward, whatever, to go to the exact part of the show that you need to view again.
I don't think most people realize that all of the shows are available online or on YouTube, and that you can go back.
So,
you know, people see them on TV reruns in the middle of the night, and you know.
Right, they're on all the time.
They're on all the time.
As far as cable,
but you can go right to
it's
shows
on demand. You can go exactly to the day you want, to the part of the program you want, and view it at any time. Anyway, before we go out and visit Marylou at Miller, we had a student phone in from Shafter, and they were working on a multiplication problem.
Okay.
And they need to do it, they said, with the boxes and drawing it out and stuff like that.
Like the box with place value, is that right?
So the problem was, what was it? It was 273.
I'll write it down here. 273
times 346.
346. So when they say boxes, I'm gonna take a box something like this, right? And think of like a multiplication table, and I'll do 273. I'm gonna write it using place value. I'm gonna write it as 273, and make my box this way. So there's my place value for the 273, and then I'll do 346. And so I'll get a multiplication box, something like this. I hope everything's going to fit in here. And then all we have to do is do our little multiplication table, and when we're all done, we'll take all of our products here and then just add them up. So we'll do it place by place. So I'm going to multiply 200 times 300. Well, what makes it easy is the only digits I have are the 2 and the 3, and that's easy. 2 times 3 is 6. And then I'm going to multiply 100 times 100, which is also really easy because it's just 2 zeros times 2 zeros is going to give me 4 zeros. So 200 times 300, now it's 60,000, but it's just 6 and 4 zeros. Then I can do 70 times 300, And again, 7 times 3 is the easy part. That's just 21. And now I've got 1 0 and 2 zeros, so that's, say, 10 times 100. That's just 3 zeros right here. So that gives me 21,000. And then 3 times 300, well, again, 3 times 3 is 9, and I've got 2 zeros. So breaking it up by place value makes it real easy to keep track of where everything goes by using the zeros. Now I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to go 200 times 40, that's 2 times 4 is 8, and 1, 2, 3 zeros. That puts my digits in the right place when I add them up over there. 70 times 40, well, 7 times 4, that's 28. And then I've got 0 times 0. And finally, 3 times 40 is 12 and 1 0. So again, the number of zeros lines up the digits when I do my addition over here. So 200 times 6, well, again, pretty easy. That's 12 with 2 zeros. 70 times 6, that's 42, 7 times 6, and 1 0. And 3 times 6 is 18. So I've got 9 different multiplications that I did, just as if I had done this problem the traditional way, but with the box, I've got my zeros to line things up. So I'm going to take, let's see, which one do I want? I'm just going to add them this way, all the way. So I'm going to take 60,000. I'm going to take 21,000. I'm going to take 900. There's my first column. Okay. Well, actually, I can do them right here. Since they're all lined up, let's just do it right here, and then I'll add them up this way. So I'm going to get a 0 and a 0. I get 900 there, and I get 1, and I get 8. So I get 81,900 when I take 60,000, 21,000, and 900. Here I'm going to get lined up 0 and 2, and I get 8. I'm sorry, I get 200 times 4. That should be an 8,000, right? If I have 3 zeros. Right. Make sure I line things up. Line it up here, and here I could have done a better job of lining things up. I get 800 and 100, that's 900, and 8 and 2 is 10,000. So now I get, adding up my ones place, I get 8. Here I get 3, and here I get 200 and 400. That's going to be 600 and 1. So I get 1,638. So let me come over here now, and I'll get rid of this. And all I have to do is add up each of these, and I get 81,900. I get 10,920, and I get 1,638. So I chose to do it this way. You could have added them across also, or done them in order of size of the number, but all I have to do now is add up my 8, my 3 and my 2. 9, 9 is 18, and 4 is 24. Carry my 2, 2, 3, 4. And I hope I did this all right. It looks like I got 94,458 for my answer.
Indeed, you did. And it took a little while to do that. And I know there are some students that are used to doing it with the standard algorithm.
Right.
May take about the same time.
It does. And you're doing the same multiplication. This just seems like it takes more room, but it shows the place value here in the box
right.
Instead of in the problem like that.
All right, nicely done. Hopefully that helps out our student out in Shafter and some other students working on that as well. 636-4357 is the phone number. Every Tuesday we're live at a different school. Today we're out at Douglas Miller Elementary School in Southwest Bakersfield. Let's head on out there with Marylou.
And we're back here live at Douglas J. Miller Elementary ACES After School Program. I'm here with Josiris. Did I say that correctly? How are you today?
Good.
And what grade are you in?
6th.
And have you been here at Miller Elementary since kindergarten?
No, 4th grade.
Okay, so you've been here for 3 years?
Yeah.
And how do you like 6th grade?
Difficult.
Is it?
Very.
What's so difficult?
Math.
Ah, that should be the easiest.
Well, sort of.
Sort of, yeah. It's a lot harder this year, huh?
Very
Just wait till next year.
horrible.
So, yeah, but you're going to be okay. Okay, we have a problem here, don't we, that we need to do. And it looks like you're working on decimals and fractions.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, so we have a number line, and it's numbered from 0 to 1. And in between, we have our parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a decimal is really a part of a number, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have 4 questions. So we need to find out if these questions are true or not. Okay, so if it's true, we're going to put a T, and if it's false, we're going to put an F for false. How about that? Is that okay? All right. So let's see. It says, is point A, does point A represent, it represents 0. Does point A represent 0?
No.
No, it doesn't, does it? Because where's point A? It's not at 0, is it?
No.
Okay, so that's kind of false, isn't it? Okay, so let's put it up for false. Okay, read me the next one.
Point B represents 3/10.
Okay, well, here's point B, and in between is what? What's on this side of it?
Point 2.
Well, which is also 2
Tenth.
tenths, and this is?
4/10.
So do you think that's 3 tenths?
Yes.
Yes, it is. And when we look at a fraction, we actually read it as we write it, correct?
Correct.
And this is 3 out of 10, right? Which is also 3 tenths as a decimal. So that's true, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, read the next one. You tell me how to solve that.
Point C represents 6.5.
What do you think?
It's false
Why?
because the number line only goes up to 1, and 1 is a whole number and 6 is a whole number.
Exactly. That 6 whole number would be way over there, wouldn't it?
Yes.
All right, give us our answer then. Okay, now, what about our last one?
Point D represents 4/5.
Okay, well, what do you think? Because 4/5, well, everything's in tenths, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we have 2 tenths, and we have 4 tenths, we have 6 tenths, 8 tenths, but this denominator is a 5. So, what can we do to change that denominator to a 10?
We can multiply it by 2.
Exactly. That's called what kind of fraction? Starts with an E. Equivalent.
Equivalent.
Yes. Okay, so let's put our equal sign. And let's go ahead and do our fraction bar. And tell me how you're going to make this an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 10. What are you doing?
We times it by 2, then it equals 8 over 10.
Okay, why are you timesing it by 2?
Because if 5 times 2 is 10, and then if this as a fraction, it would be 8.10.
Okay.
8 over 10.
Okay, so is point D, does it represent 4/5?
Yes.
It does, because there's point D, and it's at 8 tenths, and 4/5 is the same as 8 over 10. So let's put our answer, which is
True.
true. There you go. All right, good job, good job, good job. All right, Mike, back to you.
All right, nicely done with Marylou and the students out of Miller. And I saw that there were a whole lot of students out there, so hopefully they're keeping Marylou busy. And you know what? I wonder if she's going to be on Facebook again doing somersaults and cartwheels and things like that. Maybe they'll have a big competition out there in the yard. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Right now, we'll go to the phones. And a student from Stockdale Elementary, Sophia, how are you today?
Good.
And what grade are you in?
I am in 6th grade.
All right, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
In GATE, where we have a piece of paper and we have to make all the numbers from 1 to 13.
Okay.
Using the numbers 5, 8, 12, and 6.
5.
And I need help on how to do number 13.
We've done this before last week. Remember this?
Yes. 5, 8, 12, and 6.
Now, you know what? We'll go ahead and show the way that we did it last week, and I found another way today.
Oh, okay, good.
So we'll go ahead and, so Sophia, how would you like to start the problem?
Well, I was trying to start with 12, and I'm like, oh no.
Okay, so have you tried something? How close have you gotten? You were trying to equal 13, right?
Yeah.
Have you tried a combination and gotten an answer? I mean,
Yeah,
not 13. What did you get?
Well, I don't have the paper right now, but I've tried, and I don't know where the paper's at.
Okay, so you said you started with 12?
Yeah, I was
Because
starting with 12. And
Okay,
then
so if we start with 12, that means all we have to do is get one more out of 5, 8, and 6, right?
yeah.
And that's the problem, isn't it? Because I know I can get, let's see, 8 minus 5 is 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I know I can get 14 by adding 2, but that's too high. And I can get 10 by subtracting, right? So if I went 8 minus, well, let me put this on the bottom, sorry. If I put 6 on top and divided by 8 minus 5, that would be 6 divided by 3. And if I subtract that, that gets us 10, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I did? I took 12 and then I did 6 divided by, put the 8 and the 5 in the 8 minus 5 in parentheses. And so 6 divided by 3, that's 2. So we got 10, but we can't get 13 out of that. So Mr. Cushine gave us the little trick last week.
Decimals are the friend.
He said decimals was one of the things you had to use. So let's go ahead and use decimals on this. And here's what we did. We're going to use the 5 and the 6. Let's see, is that what we did? We did 5 and 6.
Well, you're going to do the,
And
right,
11,
as the whole
right?
numbers.
So 5 and 6 made 11, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now all we need is 2 more, right?
Yeah.
And what we said before was we said, look at 8 and 12. What happens when you add 8 and 12?
You get 20.
20, but we don't want 20. We want 2, don't we?
Yeah.
So here's where the decimals came in. Instead of 12 and 8, we're going to put a decimal between the 1 and the 2 and make it a 1.2. And put a decimal in front of the 8 and make it a 0.8. And so what's 1.2 plus 0.8?
1.2 plus 0.8 is 2.
2.0, or just 2, isn't it? So there's our 5 plus 6 is 11, plus the 1.2, that's the 12 with the decimal point, plus the 0.8, which is the 8 with a decimal point, and that's going to give us our 13. Okay?
Thank you.
So the key to that was the decimal point. Mr.
Right.
Cushine, you said we had another way of doing
Right.
this?
So nicely done on that. So now, Sophia, you've got the answer to that. And here is another way I propose. So we have our 5, 6, 8, and 12.
Yes.
So go 5.8
Oh, okay, 5.8
plus 1.2
plus 1.2,
plus the only number left is a 6.
yes.
So let's just add the 6 and try that and see how it works.
So 5.8 plus 1.2, that's going to be 7.0 plus, that's this, right? Plus the 6 is going to give us 13. So that's another way of doing it, still with decimals, right?
Right.
Still with
So there we
decimals,
go.
but we put the decimal with the 5 and the 8 and put them together to make a number, and then the 1.2 and the 6.
Right. So just another way to manipulate the numbers a little
Right.
bit. It doesn't say they have to remain whole numbers together. I mean, we can
That's
divide
right.
them, take square roots if possible, things like that. But just another way to do it with the decimals.
Okay, good.
All right. So thank you very much for that phone call, Sophia. And hopefully all of the other students, now that we've done this a couple of times,
Yes.
have caught on and can always take a look at the program.
And now
see
we
how
got
to
the
do
other
it.
way also.
Right.
Good.
Who knows? Maybe tomorrow we'll come up with another way on that one. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. We'll visit again with Miller right after this. Today we're in San Luis Obispo. We're at Laguna Middle School, home of the Lancers, and today we're here to Today we're at Laguna Middle School. We're in San Luis Obispo. We've got 7th grader Ian. Ian, you ready?
Yep.
All right. How do you like fractions?
Dunno.
No,
really.
you like fractions. Oh man, I don't know what I'm getting into. All right. How about mixed numbers? You know how to work with mixed numbers
Yeah.
a little bit?
Yeah.
Would you rather use fractions or mixed numbers?
Fractions.
Fractions. All right. Improper fractions or not? You know the difference between an improper
Yeah.
fraction?
Yeah.
Okay.
An improper fraction is where the numerator is greater than the denominator.
Perfect. Would you like some of those or just common fractions?
Just common fractions.
Okay. Let's go with this one, and we will add fractions. All right. So you will give me the 4 numbers that will go in here.
Okay.
All right. First number.
2,
Next number.
8,
Next number.
6,
Last number.
11.
Ooh, nicely done. All right. There we go. 2 sixths plus 8 elevenths. How are you going to go ahead and do this problem?
Well, I would have to find the, what was it called? So,
Common denominator?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For each of these, and it's got to be the least. And I think that would be 11 times 6, so 66.
Perfect. So 66 would be the least common denominator. So everything you were saying is perfectly right on. Okay. You were looking for the common denominator and the least one, right? So 6 and 11, the least common denominator is 66. There's a lot of things we could do. We could find all the multiples of them, but this one actually works out to be 66. So why don't you go ahead and put your fraction bars right there?
So that would be. Can I get a better marker?
Whatever one you like.
Okay.
So what's next?
And then you have to multiply the top by 11 as well, so that they stay the same.
Multiply both of the tops by 11?
Yeah.
Or just this one?
This one and this one.
Okay.
The numerators.
All right. So why are we going to multiply this by 11?
Because if we're going to multiply this by 11, then this also has to be by 11, so that it's the same fractions.
Right. You're on the right track. You want the same fractions. You want equivalent fractions. And this will multiply by 11 to get to 66. But
Yeah.
if we multiply 11 times 11, what would we get?
Oh, so this would be by 11, this would be by 6.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and do that.
So 2 times 11 is 22, and 8 times 6 is 48.
Okay. What is the next step?
Then the next step would be to add them,
Okay.
and then afterwards we would reduce them.
Let's go ahead and add them first.
Okay, so
And
that'd
you
be
can go ahead and
7. Okay,
put
that
it
would
over on
be-
the side there.
That would be 70 66ths.
And how did you get 70? Because there's some students watching because you did this in your head, which
Yeah.
is fine, but they may be like, where did the 70
So-
come from?
I added the 8 and the 2, and I got 10. And then I added the 40 and the 20, and I was 60, and 60 plus 10 is 70.
Perfect. So we have 70 over 66. And
That's
the way,
an improper fraction.
Improper fraction. That's exactly what I wanted you to make a reference to. So if we didn't want an improper fraction, what would we have to do to this?
We would have to divide 70 by 66.
Okay.
So
And that's a fairly easy one,
Yeah.
right? How many times is 66 going to go into
Yeah.
70?
it once.
Once. So we'll have our whole number 1.
Yeah,
And then what is the fraction part next to it?
that would be 4/66.
Right. So why don't you go ahead and put that over there? Perfect. So we added 2 sixths and 8 elevenths. You made equivalent fractions with least common denominators. Then we came out to 70 66, an improper fraction, and you turn that into a mixed number. Can we simplify the mixed number?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
And you can go ahead and write it down here. So
Okay,
you have to,
so and 4/66. So 2 can go both in both of those. So that's 2, and that's 33.
so what is
so-
our final? Well, you just go ahead and write it right
the
here.
final
nice and
answer
large.
would be 1 and 2/33.
After you simplified everything, Ian, nicely done.
Thank you.
And nicely done with all of the students over at Laguna Middle School. Home of the Lancers, lovely day we had out there, and a great group of kids. We will go out to Miller in just a little while, but first we're going to work on your order of operations, young man.
Okay.
Here we go. These are some 5th grade problems, and we'll just do them one at a time. So we have 2, we'll just do the first one.
Sure.
8 divided by 2
So using
plus 6
plus 6
times 2.
times 2. No parentheses?
No parentheses.
No parentheses. So we have to determine which order to do these in using the order of operations. And we know the order of operations is going to be, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, those are done together. Addition, subtraction, those are done in order from left to right, or in this case, top to bottom. All right, so I'm going to go across, and like I said, there's no parentheses, no exponents. So I'm going to look for multiplication and division, but I'm going to do them in order from left to right. I don't do multiplication just because it's multiplication. First, I'm going to do the division and the multiplication as I see them from left to right. So I'm going to go 8 divided by 2 first. That's going to give me 4. Then I'm going to come over here and do 6 times 2, which is 12. Right, so I've done all my multiplication and my division here and here. And the last thing I'm going to do is the addition. So I get 4 plus 12, and it looks like 16 should be the answer to that problem.
Nicely done. Leave everything up there.
Okay.
And I would like you to show how we can get 20. Because there's a
20?
student that would do this and get 20, and they'll go, I did it exactly what it says, and I got 20.
Okay, so let's see if we can get 20 out of this. So that means to change the order of operations, I have to regroup these differently, which means I have to use parentheses.
Or what I venture, like, let's say you have no knowledge of the parentheses using and things like that.
Oh, you mean do
Let's
it
just go
wrong?
ahead and do it wrong. Right.
And get,
how you
and
get
20. Okay, well, let's see. If I did, say, the addition first, well, I'm going to be dividing. So let's see if I do.
Let's just read it left to right and go.
Yeah, so if I just do this and forget the order of operations and just do the division first, that's 4 plus 6 times 2. And then instead of doing my multiplication next, I do 4 plus 6. That's going to give me 10 times 2, and that's going to give me 20. So what we did was we did the addition before the multiplication.
Right. So just another way to show
Correct.
how it could be done, but you're going to come up with a different answer, a wrong answer.
And I show my students that depending on the kind of calculator you have, if you have a scientific calculator, then it's going to know the order of operations, and it's going to give you the correct answer, which was, what did we get?
16, I believe it was.
We got 16. But if you use a 4-function calculator, a real basic calculator, it's going to do and give you this answer.
Right.
So you're going to actually use a calculator
And it will
and get
come
the
out with
wrong
the wrong
answer. So that's, you have to be very careful with the order of operations.
Which emphasizes the point that a calculator is a useful tool if it is used correctly.
Right.
Because I'll just put it in the calculator and then it will tell me what it is. Well, like we said, there's differences in calculators. You need to know the math behind it first, then go ahead and do it.
Right. The
All right,
4-function calculator doesn't have
Let's
pen down.
go on to the next one of these.
Okay. So let me get rid of this. Leave out my operations, and what do we have?
So we have 7 plus 1
7 plus 1
times 5
times 5
times 3.
times 3. Okay.
And we'll go ahead and we'll do that one correct and then try it the other way and see
Okay.
what somebody would have come up with.
So again, if I do it using my order of operation, this is algebraic logic that's built into the scientific calculators. I'm going to do my multiplication first in order from left to right, which means I'm going to multiply the 1 and the 5 first, get that answer times 3. So I'm going to leave my addition until the end, and I'm going to get 1 times 5, which is 5, and then multiply that times 3. I'm still going to do my multiplication before I do the addition, so I'm going to get 7 plus 5 times 3 is 15. So it looks like my answer is going to be 7 plus 15, which is 22. That looks like that should be the correct answer.
Right, and we do it the other way, it'll be quite a difference in the next answer.
Yeah, so now that's using the order of operations. So let's see what happens when we don't use the order of operations. Remember, the correct answer was 22, we said, right?
Correct.
So here, this says, let's just do them in order from left to right. 7 plus 1, that's 8. Then times 5 times 3. That's going to be 8 times 5. That's going to be 40 times 3. And 40 times 3, that's going to be 120. That's quite a bit different from 22 to 120. So you got to be really careful when you're doing these problems, because sometimes it's only off by a little bit, but in this case, it's off by a lot.
Right, and which is exactly why they'll put answers like that on a standardized test where you have options to choose from, because somebody can go, well, if I just do it straight across, I get 120.
And that'll be the first choice in a multiple choice question. That's right.
All right, nicely done. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Outlying areas of Kern County as well as San Luis Obispo County, that phone number is toll free at 1-866-636-6284. Speaking of out and about, Marylou is out and about. She's over at Douglas Miller Elementary School with a whole lot of students. Let's head out there now with Marylou.
We are back live at Miller Elementary ACES After School Program, and this time I am with Irvin. Hi, Irvin. How you doing?
Good.
And you're in 6th grade, correct?
Yes.
What is your favorite thing about 6th grade?
Well, I'm kind of in a special class, so we do fun things.
Ooh, like what?
Well, she has, there's this thing called Genius Hour where we pick a project, anything that we are interested in, and then we do that.
Oh, and what project did you pick?
A stopwatch motion, or a stop motion.
Oh, that's really interesting. So how long will it take you to do the project?
I don't know. We've been working on it for a couple of weeks, because we do the thing every Thursday.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck on that. We'd love to see it completed. But right now we have a math problem, right? So we got to get to math. Okay, here is our question. Select the values that are equivalent to 1/25. I'm going to underline that. All right, Ivan. What do we need to do here? We have 4 choices. So what do we need to find out?
So we need to find out, well, for some of them we have to turn into fractions like these two to find out how it could equal 1/25.
Okay, what's the obvious choice? What can we obviously say yes, and what can we obviously say no, it's not?
Well, A is the obvious choice because it is 1/25.
Okay, let's circle A.
And so the choice that's really that's obvious that won't make it is 25 because it's a whole number, so it won't be able to turn it into that.
Okay, so let's cross that off. We don't need that, do we? Now we need to find out if these decimals are 1/25, so we need to change them to fractions first. And then we're probably going to need to simplify, right? Okay, so this reads as 4/100. So let's write that as a fraction. And 4/100, well, we know it's not 1/25, but we can simplify this, can't we? Okay, so does 4 go into 100?
No.
Actually, think of quarters. How many quarters are in $1?
4.
4. So actually, 4 does go into it 25 times. So let's go ahead and divide both of those by 4. So what's 4 divided by 4?
1.
Okay, let's put our 1. And if I have $1 and I divide it into 4, okay?
You divide a quarter by 4, it's,
if I have 4 quarters.
Yeah, 4 quarters equals 100.
So 100 divided by 4 is?
25.
There you go, it's 25. Okay, now let's go ahead and do this. This is 25 thousandths, where this was 4/100. We're now in the thousands place value. So let's write that as a fraction underneath here. Okay, obviously we know 25 can go into 1,000, right? Okay, so let's divide 25 by 25, and let's divide 1,000 by 25. Okay.
So this will be 1.
Okay. Do you think you need to do a little bit long division to figure that out?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and do a little bit long division. So 25 again goes into, how many quarters are in $1?
4.
Okay, let's put our 4 up there. Oh, Yep. Oh, go ahead. Do what you're going to do there. And what's left over?
0.
Okay, bring it down. Can 25 go into 0?
No.
Okay. So it's really going to be 1 what?
1 over 40.
Okay. So now let's look at our two choices because we've changed them both to fractions. Here, we know that 4/100 simplifies to?
125.
And is that what we need?
Yes.
Okay, so let's circle C because C is obviously a choice. But what about D? 25 thousandths. What did it simplify to?
140.
Is that a choice?
No.
No, that's not correct, is it? So obviously our answers are the fraction 1/25th and also the decimal 4/100. Yes?
Yes.
Awesome job. You ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get rid of this. Here, you got another. I was going to see if there was another eraser. We're going to erase this one. Are you ready for this problem?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Have you seen that before?
Yes.
You have. I was going to trick you because that's in 7th grade. But you've seen this before?
Yeah, you have to do the things in the parentheses first, and then...
Wow. Yes. It's actually called distributive property, but this is what's coming next year, okay? But I'm going to give you another one, all right? Let's give you one you're working on. Here we go. 2/5 times 1/4. All right, Ivan, lead me through this.
So, if the way I do it is I simplify it first, so I would go 1 goes into 5 times, but 1 goes into 1 once, and 2 goes into 4 2 times, but 2 goes into 2, and so after that I would just cross multiply. 1 goes into 1 once, and 5 goes into 2 10 times.
And can that be simplified, or did you already do it?
I think
You already did it because you simplified it within the problem, huh? So, yeah, with multiplying, we don't have to worry about our least common denominator, do we? Wow, amazing job, kiddo. Really good job. All right, Mike, back to you.
All right. Thank you for that, Marylou. Nice to see all students working hard out at Miller Elementary. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Those students, as well as Sophia, she phoned in a little earlier with a math problem. All of those students and the students that continue to phone in between now and 5 o'clock will be entered into our family 4-pack to go see the Condors, drawing that we give away every single day. Right now, we do have a problem that I'd like you to work on.
Okay.
We're going to have you put up two numbers. The first number is 583,607. The second number, 362,501. What I'd like you to do is tell me how many times greater the value of the 5 is in the first number compared to the second number. So how many times greater is that value?
Okay. So this is 500,000, right? So I know that just like we did with the multiplication box, we're going to take that 5, and it just doesn't mean the number 5. It means 500,000, right? This is 8. That's 80,000. That's 3,000. But that 5 in this first number stands for 500,000. The 5 in the second number, though, is not way over here. It's in this place. So this is 300,000. This is 60,000. This is 2,000. And this is only 500. So the question is, how many times greater is this than the 500? Which means I want to know, what do I have to multiply that 500 by to get 500,000? The nice thing is I've got 500,000 and I've got 500. So one way I could just look at this and say, well, look, all I have to do is add 3 zeros out here to make this 500,000. So I can look at this place value wise and just say that I need 3 more zeros to make this 500,000. 3 more zeros is going to be 1,000 times. And what I just did was I did the division in my head. I could say, you know, what do I have to multiply 500 by to get 500,000 is the same as saying how many 500s are there in 500,000, and actually do that problem. And it turns out that I'm going to get 1,000 as my answer. So it looks like the answer to this problem is it's 1,000 times bigger by moving it over 1, 2, 3 places.
All right, nicely done on that. Do remember 636-4357 is the phone number. I know we have another student waiting to get online with a phone call, but first we're going to do this other problem.
Okay.
We're going to simplify an expression.
Okay.
So here we go. We have 5, open parentheses, k plus 7, close parentheses, minus 8k, open parentheses, k minus 8.
All right, so we've been doing quite a few simplifying expressions. No equation in this problem, no equal sign. All we're doing is simplifying by removing the parentheses and combining terms, which is a really important part of solving some equations later on. So I'm going to use the distributive property here, and I'm going to use the distributive property here. So let's remove these parentheses. 5 times k, that's going to be 5k. 5 times 7 is 35, and we're going to add that. Now here, I'm going to subtract this multiplication, right, when I remove the parentheses. So I'm going to go 8k times k, that's going to be 8k squared, and we're going to subtract that. And here I'm going to get 8k times 8, which is going to be 64k. And if I think about it, it's subtracting a negative. So if I go 8k times 8, that's 64k, but 8k times negative 8 is negative 64. But when I subtract it, I'm going to change the sign. So think of it as negative times negative, or subtracting a negative, or subtracting and subtracting. Any way you look at it, those two minus signs or the two negative signs is going to give me that plus. So now I've got my 4 terms from removing parentheses. Now I've got to combine like terms, so I have to find the like terms. I'm going to look for a variable with the same exponent, and in this case I've got a k squared. This is a k, no squared term. This is a k, no exponent of 2. So I'm going to put my first highest term, negative 8k squared, first. Now I've got a 5k and a 64k. That's going to give me 5k. 5 plus 64, that's going to give me 69k, and that's all positive. And the last thing I have is the number all by itself, no other like terms in the problem, so I'm going to get just a plus 35. So it looks like putting them in order, highest power of the variable first down to the number, negative 8k squared plus 69k plus 35.
All right, nicely done. And important that they know how to do that now, because once they simplify expressions, going into solving equations is going to be a little bit easier, as long as they remember distributing things.
Because this makes the equation look really, really complicated. As soon as we can simplify it down to this, it's going to be a lot easier.
Right, and combining like terms.
Yes.
That's key also, because when sometimes students will get an equation and it'll be like, they could combine like terms first, but instead of doing that, they'll start moving things around to one side or the other of the equal sign.
Right.
And it can be done, but it just makes it more confusing and a longer problem.
Right, and you're simplifying the number of terms that you've got and just making the problem a lot easier.
Right. All right, 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Don't forget, you can always email us. There were 2 students that emailed us with some problems, and they said, I need some help with my physics homework. Okay, send us the problem, and then we can help you with your physics homework. And then another one was, hey, we're working on these things. Can you help us with it? Well, we can, but you need to let us know the specific problem, and then we can help you with that. Also, online, if you're not able to view the program on cable any longer for whatever reason, you can always view it online at dothemathonline.net. And there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that Do the Math is doing right now on a lot of different social media, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Once again, with Facebook and YouTube, you can always view any program in its entirety, like as soon as we're through. So somebody might go, hey, I saw that problem being worked on. well, at about 5:02 or whatever, you could probably go to YouTube, Facebook, and then view today's program. We do have time for one more phone call, and I don't know if we'll get the whole problem done, but we'll go ahead and start it. Let's, Elisa, you're on the phone. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Okay, and what school do you attend? Stockdale?
Yes,
All right, and what grade are you in?
Stockdale Elementary.
And what grade are you in? 4th, 5th, 6th?
6.
Okay, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
The problem is 300 shares of stock are purchased at $37 1/2 per share and sold at $49 1/8 per share. What is the gross profit?
Okay, so there's a lot of numbers in here. So you said 300 shares at how much?
300 shares at $37 1/2 per share.
So 37.5 per share?
$37 and then 1/2 per share.
Right, so it's 37.5. So it's $37.5.
So you write that
So-
as a half, not 0.5,
Right, it's going to be
'Cause
written
it's
as a fraction
stock,
with
because
the
it's
stocks
stock.
like this.
And it's so $37.5 per share, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you're going to sell it at what price?
Okay.
$49 and at 1/8 per
So
share.
49 and an eighth is what you're going to sell it at.
Sell at 49 and 1/8 dollars. Okay. All right, so the 300 shares is how much we have, and you buy it at 37.5, and you sell it, so you buy low and you sell high, so you're going to make money, right? So
Right.
the question is, how much profit is there?
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, do you want to figure out the total amount that you're going to buy it for, and then figure out the total amount you sell it for? Is that how you want to do this problem?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do
That? So let's figure out how much did you buy the stocks for? Okay.
Sorry, what was that?
So how much did you pay for the stocks?
$37.
$37.5, right?
Yeah.
For 300 shares. So let's take 300 shares, and when you say at $37.5, we're going to multiply that by $37.5, aren't we? Right? So let's figure out how much that is. How much is 300 times 37.5? How do you want to do this problem?
What do you mean?
Well, let's multiply these two numbers together. Do you want to multiply 300 times 37.5? Do you want to multiply 300 times 37.5?
300 times 37 and 50 cents.
37.
Right, so she's going to turn the half into 50 cents, which is probably the wise way to do this.
So that's 37.5. That's $37.50, isn't it? So let's go ahead and multiply 37.5 times 300. Now you notice I put the 300 on the bottom, right?
And to save you time, we're going to just go ahead and give you that. It's 11,250.
11,250.
Correct.
So that's a pretty easy problem to do on calculator, but it's also easy to do by hand with the zeros on the bottom, right? Now let's see how much we're going to do when we sell. It's going to be 300 shares again, right? But now it's going to be at $49, 49 and an eighth. Now we want to do that as a decimal.
So let's erase the 8.
Oh, 49.
Because you were saying an 8, and then I think you wrote the 8, so we're going to leave it at 49. Now, Elisa, how will you change 1/8 into something so that we can deal with it as far as money is concerned?
We did this one as a decimal. Can we change 1/8 to a decimal?
You divide 1 by 8.
Right. So
And to save us time, that'll come out to be 0.125.
so if you do that division, right, divide 8 into 1, you're going to get 0.125, correct? So that's going to be 49.125. Again, not a bad multiplication problem by hand because it's just 3 times that with 2 zeros. But it's an
And-
even easier calculator
Right.
problem. What do we get?
So now we get $14,737.50.
0.50, right? All right, so this is a nice even $11,250. This is $14,737. So the question is, how do we get the profit?
subtract the money that you used to purchase the stock from what you profited from how you sold it.
Yeah, so this is how much you got when you sold it, right? But we had to spend money to get it, didn't we? So we got to take away how much we spent, which is $11,250.00, right?
I'll give you guys 20 seconds to do that subtraction.
And this should be a pretty easy subtraction, right?
Yeah.
So what do we get? 7 minus 0, that's 7. We got to borrow, right? 13 minus 5, looks like 8. 6 minus 2, so this worked out to be not a very bad subtraction problem. 4 minus 1, that's 3. So it looks like your profit is $3,487.50. Okay?
Nicely done, Elisa,
Great
right
problem.
there.
Thank
Fabulous phone call right there. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30, but right now we're going to make our final visit out to Miller Elementary School and Marylou.
And we are back live at Miller Elementary ACES After School Program with Josiris and Ivan. And I wanted to thank you both today for helping us out and doing those wonderful math problems. And I have a little present for both of you. Here you guys go. Now you have to make me a promise, okay? You promise to be the ambassadors for Do the Math. Do you guys know what that means? That means that you're going to be wearing these cool shirts to school, and right on it, it says Do the Math with our phone number, and you're going to make sure that all of your friends know whenever they need help with math to do what?
Do the math.
Exactly, to call Do the Math. And again, thank you so much. You guys did such an awesome job today. Also with me today is Jennifer Irvin, the director of the ACES After School Program. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Can you tell us a little bit about your position
Absolutely.
and everything that involves it?
Yes. I'm actually the Director of Extended Learning Services, and I oversee the ACES program, which is at 13 of our sites, 3 junior highs, 10 elementaries. I also oversee a pre-K program, which is at Cybert Elementary, seeing 48 students. And we also do Ready to Start, which is a getting students ready for kindergarten during the summer.
So you guys are really busy.
We're very busy, yes.
Wow. And again, how many students are involved?
Approximately between 13 to 1,500, depending on the enrollment. But our goal is 1,500 kids. But we're at about 1,300 right now.
No, it's right after school, obviously.
Yes.
And what is the latest that they're allowed to pick up their students?
That's a really great question. They report to ACES right after school is out, and then they have to stay for at least 3 hours.
Wow.
So the latest they can be picked up is 6 o'clock. So if they have a student that needs to be picked up at, say, 5:05, and an older student that's 5:35, they can actually leave their students until 6 o'clock. So I always tell parents, go grocery shopping, go run errands, do what you need to do. Yes, you have till 6.
Well, also, you have something else very important coming up.
We do, yes. Thursday we have an activity called Lights On, and it's a national night out for after-school programs. So many of our schools will be having activities that take place during the nighttime.
Again, Jennifer, thank
you
for
so
letting
much.
us come out
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you.
And real quick, I have a lot of new friends that have joined us today, and I want to say thank you for all of you guys for helping out today. And remember, you guys, what should we do?
Doing the math, let's find out who's going to see the Condors. We have Ivan from Miller Elementary.
Ivan.
Congratulations. Until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, California Resources Corporation, Kern County Water Agency, Southern California Edison, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and Bakersfield City School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.